Is it finally happening? Is Andrew Thomas finally going to make his season debut this Sunday night against the Kansas City Chiefs? A lot of information coming out of Wednesday's practice for Big Blue. We're going to break it down on the channel. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. All righty, let's go right to it. Dan Duggan of The Athletic saying this. Daboll said Andrew Thomas will take a good amount of reps in today's practice. Daboll said he's encouraged with where Thomas is at. Giants aren't in full pads today, as they have been the first two Wednesdays of the season. Following it up with the news of the day, impression I got from Daboll, says Duggan, is that they are expecting Thomas to make his season debut on Sunday as long as this week goes well. And I have been waiting to say those words on this channel since he last got hurt last season against the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully this week goes well. Hopefully they continue to manage that workload, and we could see the star left tackle protecting the blind side of Russell Wilson. Jordan on saying this, big week for standout left tackle Andrew Thomas. Think we can see him make a legit run at returning Sunday night versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This will be his third week of practice getting reps. It's all about how he feels after practicing. Giants return to the field this afternoon. Andrew Thomas was a limited participant in practice today. So I think when we wake up tomorrow, Thursday's practice happens. If he's limited again, or maybe if he's a full participant, I think that kind of swings the arrow to he might just be playing. Now, if he has to take a day off, he goes from limited to did not participate, then we're going to be having a very different conversation. There's no denying that getting Andrew Thomas back at that left tackle spot would be huge for the New York Football Giants. And I would have loved for it to have been week 1. I would have loved for it to be week 2. And I guess I would just love for it to be as soon as possible. But having him out there on Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs, as both teams are 0-2 and fighting to keep their season alive, it seems like it's perfect timing at this point. We know how special Andrew Thomas is as a player, and we know how impactful he is as a tackle on this offense. Since 2022, when Andrew Thomas plays, the Giants are essentially a 500 ball club, 15, 16, and 1, and they average 19.3 points per game. When he does not play, they are one of the, if not the worst teams in the National Football League, and their scoring falls 4.1 points per game. 3-16 without him, and they average just over 15 points a game when he's not on the football field. He's going to give Russell Wilson more confidence. He's going to lift up this offensive line, and it's just another great player on the field wearing New York across their chest. If you want Andrew Thomas out there on Sunday Night Football against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, hit that thumbs up icon. Don't jinx it. Hit the like button. We need him out there. This is where I'm at on Andrew Thomas. If he is 100% healthy and there is no risk of re-injury, further injury, or a setback, then yeah, he should play. But if he's only 85%, 90%, and there's still a 5 to 10% chance that he could re-injure that foot, there's no need to rush him out there. He had a major injury, and feet and foot injuries for big people like Andrew Thomas, 300-plus pounds, those are nothing to play around with. So I'm not going to be upset if he doesn't play because I know I'm going to be upset if he doesn't play because I want the best players on the team. I'm not going to be upset with Andrew Thomas if he does not play because he's come back multiple times too soon. It set him back. He needs to do what's best for himself at this point. Take your time. Hopefully, though, Sunday is the day. The offensive line was good against the Dallas Cowboys, partially because they did not have Micah Parsons. They no longer do have Micah Parsons. We will never have to play him twice in a season again unless the Giants meet the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs when they also play them in the regular season. But the Giants O-line stood up, and with Marcus Mbow in there, they played well. The Giants O-line had a pass block grade of 88.9 via Pro Football Focus. It was the 9th best in Week 2 across all 32 teams in the National Football League. So the question I'm sure everybody is asking is, well, Marshall, what happens with the rookie left tackle, Marcus Mbow? Is he just going to go to the bench when Andrew Thomas comes back? Well, I'll just say this. He should not be the starting left tackle if Andrew Thomas is healthy. Thomas is a significantly better player and much more proven. But I do believe that he is one of the best 5 offensive linemen on this team. And my motto is get the best 5 on the field. Maybe the Giants aren't thinking that, though. Dan Duggan of The Athletic, shout out to him, go support his work, says, addressing replies here as he's being asked questions that I'm being asked. I don't think moving Marcus Mbow to guard is even a consideration. He hasn't taken a practice rep at guard. Would be too much to ask him to make a position switch in season as a rookie. Could shifting Jermaine Eluemunor to right guard and Marcus Mbow to right tackle get the best 5 offensive linemen on the field? Possibly, but Eluemunor is playing very well at right tackle. He hasn't taken a snap at guard since last spring. I don't know if I want to mess with that for a rookie who has impressed in a limited sample size. There's nothing wrong with having a capable swing tackle. History has shown they'll probably need to use Marcus Mbow in that role. And look, Dan makes a lot of good points there. I don't think Jermaine Eluemunor would be all that happy to have to be kicked inside, play guard, and let the rookie 5th-round pick play tackle when Eluemunor has, by far and away, been the Giants' best offensive lineman this year. It sounds unlikely, but I would start Marcus Mbow at right guard. I would start him at right guard, a position that he played in college, has some success there as well, and people thought coming into the NFL draft, and part of the reason that he slipped to the 5th round is he's built more like an interior offensive lineman than on an island at offensive tackle. Marcus Mbow played 668 snaps in college at right guard, and he was seen as a player that would probably convert to offensive guard in the National Football League. And for the people that say, well, Marshall, he hasn't played guard at all this year. He hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. Well, Marcus Mbow didn't play left tackle in college ever. He never took a snap there. And he jumped right into the fire last week, and he allowed just 2 pressures over the entirety of the game, essentially, at left tackle, a position he has never, ever played before in a game prior to in a preseason contest this year. I truly believe the best 5 guys should play. I also understand the idea of having a good swing tackle, but Marcus Mbow is good enough to be on the football field. And I don't like having one of our top 5 guys watch from the sideline and only go in there if there is an injury to Andrew Thomas or an injury to Jermaine Eluemunor. So the question now becomes, Marshall, if you're going to put him at right guard, then what is the ripple effect of that? Well, Jon Runyan's dealing with a little bit of an injury. Greg Van Roten is dealing with a little bit of an injury, and I think John Michael Schmitz was even limited at practice today. Before I share my take on how I would shuffle up the big 5 up front, I'll ask you, if you do want Marcus Mbow to be that starting right guard, who should get benched? Is it John Michael Schmitz, type 61? I think if Schmitz got benched, Van Roten would move to center, and you'd have Mbow at right guard. Or do you just have Van Roten sit down, watch, be a veteran, be a leader, and coach up Marcus Mbow? 61, 74, you let me know. I'm typing my 61s. I'm going with John Michael Schmitz. I was one of the first people onto it last year. Multiple people called me out for it. Maybe I was too soon on it, but my eyes do not lie. I don't think John Michael Schmitz is a starting caliber offensive lineman in this league. I called him a bust last year, and I think he's walking that road of being a bust. 2nd-round pick, and he is graded out as the 32nd best center so far this year. Only 32 of them play. So I would bench John Michael Schmitz. I'd move Van Roten to center, and I would have Marcus Mbow at right guard. See if the Giants do it. I expect for them to roll with the same 5. If Andrew Thomas plays, I think he'll come in, and Marcus Mbow will watch, but it's not what I would do. Coming up next, we got a lengthy injury report for the New York Giants, and we also just got in the Kansas City Chiefs injury report. So we'll break both of those down coming up in a second. But first, the deal we've been telling you guys about all week, it's not as much of a deal as it once was. This shirt, it was $55. Now it's $20. It was as much as 50+% off, but the deal is still awesome. The shirt is still awesome. Chatsports.com/NYG Polo. That's chatsports.com NYG Polo. All right, the New York Giants injury report for the Wednesday practice. Linebacker Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles is dealing with a calf injury. He did not participate. Chauncey Golston, he is dealing with an ankle, did not participate. Darius Musow has a concussion. He's in the concussion protocol and did not participate. Those were the only 3 players that were not at practice for Big Blue today. Gunnar Olszewski, dealing with a back, was limited. Raheem Nunez-Roches, he's dealing with a foot. He was limited. Wan'Dale Robinson, also dealing with a foot, is limited. Jon Runyan, a back, is limited. John Michael Schmitz, a toe, is limited. Darius Slayton, a groin and a calf, he was limited as well. Andrew Thomas, we told you about his foot, causing him to be limited. Tyrone Tracy, a calf injury as well, was limited. And then we saw Roy Robertson-Harris and Cam Scadaboo, despite dealing with injuries of their own, they were full participants at Giants practice. So a lengthy injury report for the Giants. I would assume that all the players are limited, are on schedule to play this Sunday night. The Giants, as they enter week 3, are just probably taking a little bit slow and being smart with a couple of different injuries. Here's the injury report for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're dealing with a couple injuries of their own. Mike Dana, a defensive end, is dealing with a quad and did not participate. And Christian Fulton was also the only other player for the Chiefs that did not participate, as he is dealing with an ankle. Jalen Royals, the rookie, who has not played yet, is a limited participant with a knee. And Xavier Worthy was also a limited participant. So they're getting a little healthier at the wide receiver spot, with Hollywood Brown returning to practice. Their rookie offensive tackle, Josh Simmons, he is sick, but he was a limited participant. And then you had everybody else available and ready to go at practice. So the Kansas City Chiefs are essentially healthy. They're getting more healthy by the day, with Xavier Worthy returning to practice. And I reached out to my guy Jackson Durham, who has been hosting our Kansas City Chiefs report show here at Chat Sports, said Fulton and Dana are likely out. Both got hurt last week. Should have Worthy, and fingers crossed, Jalen Royals back in the receiving room. Both were participants today. Royals for the first time since the regular season began. This is a get-right game for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what they're looking at when they see the New York Giants. An opportunity for their offense to get back on track. They have not been great to start this year. It's really just been when Mahomes has gone Superman mode, and he is plenty capable of doing that. Still the baddest man in the NFL. But this defense has to show up. And if they do it under the bright lights at MetLife on Sunday Night Football, they can send a message to every other team in the NFL, all 30, saying we're a for-real defense. It was not who we were. That was on display against Dallas. And we're going to get after Patrick Mahomes and not let them have their get-right game to get back on track offensively. If you want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, hit that thumbs-up icon for me. The only team in the NFL that has not beat the Giants on the road is the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's keep that streak going. Hit that thumbs-up icon and make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, @MarshallGreen_.